Welcome to the Mad Entrepreneur Show, where we make a difference one conversation at a time. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Jen, a mother of four, a lovely wife, a savage realtor, and lastly but not least, an investor. Jen, thank you for being on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, it all started back in 1987, where my mother had me, and I have been blessing this world ever since. But I am married to Carlos. He's a Marine, active duty, currently deployed. I work real estate in 3 states actively, coast to coast, and venturing off into web design and running around with soccer practice. I have 4 kids. So just life never ends.
So, let me ask you this. So, how did you get started? Because from what I heard from Lauren, and Lauren's my wife, and Jen's like her sister,
Yeah.
apparently you never even read any books to get you started, which reminds
Who
me.
told you that? Who told you that? Lauren?
Yeah, it reminds me when I first started, right? Like I was a felon, dropped down, and then picked myself up and went from there. I have no influence, like no one to talk to. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about that and how did you change your path?
So for me, like, I'm not really big on reading. I'd rather listen to the books because it's more like I can do multiple things at the same time. And so it kind of started back actually when they had recommended a book. Lauren recommended one to me by Rebecca. I don't remember her last name off the top of my head, but the moment I started listening to it, I like took off with it. And this was kind of like when I was venturing into like being like understanding that I was more intuitive, that I could manifest the things that I want. And That's when I met with Jackie Van Campen, and I started to kind of understand things in a different light from what I was brought up in, because my parents aren't very like, they're not really open. They don't talk about these things. I would see them doing their own investments. I would see them have their own real estate, but they never really openly talked about this stuff. So the only way that I was like really gaining stuff of anything of that sorts was from the Salazars. And obviously that's how I met Jackie. That's how I learned about that book from Rebecca and just like being a warrior. And that's kind of like what started all of it, was like the warrior thing. And then like I threw in the no limit because to me, I felt like anything was possible. Whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to stop until I succeed. And then the savage part, that kind of came in because of my mouth. Like I would just kind of say things before. I'm more filtered now, but I would just kind of just say things and people would be like, God, like that's so savage. And it just kind of clicked. So then I just threw them all together. And that's kind of how I created No Limit Savage Warrior. Because I was like, well, that is me. So it's kind of just how my little trademark, I guess.
So what made you pivot into real estate? Because when I met you, you
So
weren't in real estate.
no, I didn't want anything to do with real estate. My dad had been begging me to do it for a long time. And I was like, nah, I don't want to sell houses. That sounds so lame. But I wish I would have done it then, but I just wasn't educated. And so it all started back when my previous marriage, we were going to start flipping houses. We wanted to flip houses. We were looking into wholesaling. We started meeting with investors. We started looking at properties. And then we kind of came to the conclusion like, oh, well, it would be better if one of us was a realtor to catch the commission as well. And I was like, okay, so by we, you mean me, because I was the non-working party. So then I started doing the school for that. Kind of, it wasn't really like supposed to be anything of me focusing on real estate. It was just supposed to be strictly for flipping houses and catching the commission. But then like having Xavier and trying to like balance this with a toddler at that, it was a lot. And I realized like I couldn't do it that way. And then I kind of found a niche in working with the military. So because of our like supposed adventure of flipping houses, it turned into me actually just selling real estate, learning more about the VA loans and how to benefit them, because we ended up buying a home and we sold it in Florida, not realizing we could have kept that home and turned it into a rental, because had we known we could have used our VA loan several times, then we would have kept it. We would probably still have that home. Well, I would probably still have that home, but that's besides the point. But we sold it, and we still made money off of it. We still made money off of it
You're like,
for only
yeah, yeah,
owning
yeah.
it.
I would have kept that house.
Yeah, yeah. Just I had to throw that in there. Not like he's gonna see. Anyways, I would have kept the house. And like a lot of people think like for me, it started to become a trigger point because I would start to we would do the seminars and I would hear service members being like, well, I would never buy here because I'm never gonna live here. Like this isn't my forever spot. And that's where I wanted to switch people's mindsets because I'm like, your thinking is wrong. If you're not thinking about long term and building a portfolio and thinking of it as like later down the line, this could buy my kids cars, this could buy my kids a house, or this could just bring me money. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the times militaries, it's only one party working and the spouse is not. So if you can make extra money to upgrade your car or whatever it is, then why not? Because the story I always tell them is like we lived in that home for 10 months and we still made money. So
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for us wanting to adventure into that, then we wouldn't have been here.
Can you touch more on the VA? Like, how many times can they use their VA? Because I don't think a lot of military folks understand that concept.
There is no limit. So there's just different terms to it. So if you like for us, okay, we have a home in North Carolina that's under the VA loan. We have a home in Virginia that's also under the VA loan. We could have bought in California with the VA loan, but there's certain caps that you cannot go past. There's no limit to how much you can use on the VA loan, but once you go past that cap, 20 you have to put down 25% of whatever the difference is. But you
Got
can sell and buy, sell and buy, sell and buy as many times as you want with the VA loan. And people don't realize that. They just think like, oh, I'm going to save it for when I get out and buy my forever home. And now you have no portfolio, nothing to fall back on, no extra income. And now you're just trying to like figure out life again, like as if you're freshly thrown out at 18.
Yeah. So to be clear, are you able to utilize the VA loan? Let's say you purchase a property, right? You utilize your
Mhm.
VA loan. You live in there for 2 years, you rent it out. If the loan is still under the VA, do you still use the VA to purchase another house because you have a cap to it? If you
Yeah,
didn't use the full cap,
yeah, we have two homes in two different states that are both under the VA loan because we had enough eligibility. Well, he had enough eligibility in it.
so are you
But when we
educating?
came to yeah, so that's the point is like to educate people to have a different mindset of like not viewing it as I'm not going to buy a home here because I'm not going to be here forever to let me buy a home here and then turn around and rent it. Because if you want to free up your VA loan, then you just refinance. Take it out of
Correct.
a VA loan, put it into a conventional, then your VA loan is good for the next home, and now you got a rental property.
Yep, I agree. I think
Yeah.
more military folks should tackle with you.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell them, but one person. Who am I?
Yeah, yeah, you're friendly realtor. That's who you are, and you also hustle.
Yes.
So that's what we
Yeah,
use in some of our deals when
of
purchasing the
course. I
real
don't think
estate.
people understand that though, but people just like you have a lot of, and I hate to like say it like this, but it's the freaking truth. You have a lot of service members or like retired military who used to be in recruiting and they're good salesmen. They're good talkers. They're good with their words. So everything sounds good, but then when you go under contract, that's when shit hits the fan because things aren't being thoroughly explained. They're not being thoroughly reviewed. They're not being like, their process isn't as smooth or, they don't really communicate as well. You can't get a hold of them. Like different things happen. Whereas like, at least with me, I'm consistent on that. Like you're going to consistently have communication the whole time. And that's kind of hard because it's like you can't, it's one of those things like I can say I'm good at doing all these things, but you won't know until you work with me.
Yeah, so you think that's what makes you different from others and why you keep getting more referrals?
Yes. I
It's
am
awesome.
very tenacious and I'm very efficient with my communication. And a lot of people are not, real estate or not. A lot of people just are not good communicators. They don't respond in timely manners or at all.
Yeah, and that's what something else I want to touch bases on is if you have a realtor and they're not communicating, you're not responding to your text messages, fire them. You have the option to fire them. You
Yeah.
don't
People
have to
forget
be
that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's bringing it up because
Yeah.
they're there to help you, not the other way
Yeah.
around. And if you see it as their realtor just there for the paycheck, you don't need them. move on.
Exactly. And
Find
then,
someone
well,
else.
now with all the rules that they're implementing with, now they're forcing buyers to have to sign the buyer's agent, like the agent agreement. A lot of people are going to be like, well, shoot, I'm trapped. But if they're not doing, the keywords are, if they're not doing their fiduciary duties for you, then you have the right to cancel the contract.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of like the keyword for people to remember. Keywords.
Yeah. Well, people tend to forget really easily.
Yeah. Well, good thing you have this podcast. They can come back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Replay it. So, what's
Yeah.
been one of your most successful real estate ventures?
For me personally was when I went through the divorce and I was able to buy the house by myself. I think because I had Mariah at freshly 18 and I went from working overnight, working full time, going to school full time, taking care of my dad who was sick, and to be able, like, I would have never envisioned myself buying a home by myself. And so to be able to go and buy this 4,000 bedroom, 4,000 square foot home with freaking 5 bedrooms, vaulted ceilings. Like, it was just, I call it my dream home. I will forever call it that. But to be able to do that by myself and financially, like, have the down payment, because I didn't have a VA loan. I'm not a veteran. I had to
Mhm.
go conventional. So I still had to put down 5%. I still had to pay for my closing costs. I still had to pay for my upgrades. I came out of pocket, like, I want to say almost $30,000 out of my own pocket to buy this home. And then, like, that was already a huge accomplishment, and it just got better. I was able to rent it. I made a huge profit off the rent. Then eventually I sold it and I made over $100,000, and I only owned the home for like 2 years.
Yeah. So then, how did
So
that affect your mindset? Because achieving something like that must be insane. Not a
it
lot of
is.
people are able to do that.
Well, not a lot of people can say they did that, and especially to say they did it as a newly divorced woman and a single mom. Like, it was so empowering, and it just made me feel like every woman that's out there that's like settling in their relationship, get the fuck out and go. Oh, sorry, am I allowed to cuss on your podcast? Get the
Yes, yes.
hell retake,
I
retake. Get the heck out. Get the heck out of your situation and, like, oh, I think I just turned this off. Get the, like, heck out of your situation and, like, go do what makes you happy. Life is too
Yeah,
fucking short, you know?
yeah, and I think that's the other problem with people. People settle
Yeah.
too many times, and this is why I tell people: if you're in a relationship and you're just there because you feel comfortable, and you're not, there's no communication, or you're not getting anything else. Like, why are you there? Like,
Exactly. And if you're not trying to better each other, then get out. Because, like, that's how I see it. Like, I wouldn't want to be with someone that's not going to push me or motivate me to do better or help elevate my business. And if I'm not doing the same for them, then they shouldn't be with me either.
yeah, it's the same concept that I keep talking about. It's as you progress and you continue to grow, you're gonna outgrow individuals. You're gonna outgrow your family. Certain
Yeah.
family members are not. Don't get me wrong. I love all my family. I'll go visit all my family, and I try to
Yeah.
make it a point that every Christmas or every Thanksgiving, I try to visit everybody.
Yeah.
And to me, as family, it's everything to me. I might not spend a lot of time with them, but it is everything to me.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a point where you're outgrowing them, where you're probably not hanging out as much as you used to with them, and friends as well, and especially your loved ones, the person you have a relationship with, your wife, your husband, boyfriend, or girlfriend.
Yeah.
If they're not, some of them, and I've seen this where they'll try to hold that individual back down. Like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, you're gonna get successful, you're gonna leave me. That's your own personal fear. You need to get over that. And
Yep.
if you don't get over that, that person that's changing is gonna leave you behind.
Yeah. That's literally what happened.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
pretty.
not, I mean, to a degree, but yeah.
Okay. So how you seeing real estate now? I know it's more tough nowadays than it was before. Before then, like 2020 was cruising mode for all you guys.
It
How's
was
now
2020.
2024?
It was crazy then. For me, it's picking up. I mean, I feel like because I work in 3 states, it is still kind of crazy. Because I'm up early to accommodate my East Coast clients, and then sometimes I'm up late. If I have clients in Okinawa, they're in a totally different time zone. So I have to be up for them as well. So sometimes, I mean, I'm up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock writing offers for them because it Like that's when they can communicate. That's when they can sign paperwork. I'm up at 4 in the morning to go work out, and I'm at the gym reading emails or I send out like weekly reminders on Mondays. So I'm in the gym between sets, like, okay, this week you can expect this. Boom, do a set, come back, next client. This week you can, so it's just like, I mean, I'm pretty steady and things are just kind of like flowing in. I've been trying to, now that we're back in California, it's hard because everybody's a freaking realtor out here for some reason. I guess there were no other careers to choose from, but
No, they
here we
saw the
are.
money in 2020.
They're like, oh, it's COVID, might as well. I'm going to
Yeah.
become a realtor. So it's hard because now I'm seeing that like I've gone a decent amount of my career where I haven't truly invested into myself. I haven't truly stepped out of my comfort zone. A lot of people may not realize it, but I don't like to be on social media. I don't like to post myself on it. I don't like to be in front of the camera. I don't like to be doing all the trends, but I've learned that this last year that you have to, like, if you want to start to get followers, you want to start to engage with people that could be potentially your clients, you have to post, you have to be on it. And it is like extremely uncomfortable for me, but I do it and I'm really good at acting. So that you think that I love it, but I really truly don't. I cringe and I take the shot like 15 times because I'm like, oh, I look stupid. But I'm trying to like, I don't know. I guess I just kind of had a revelation of like, what if I actually really invested in myself and like spent money on marketing in a unique way, not like Zillow and doing what everybody does with Facebook ads and all these things, but like in a truly unique way. And I follow this girl named Amanda, and she speaks my language and she's in a completely different state. And the fact that she is willing to share what she's doing to help elevate other realtors, I'm like, that's badass. Like I want to do that for myself and help other women at the same time.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that because then that promotes you to learn everything that she has to offer, and then what you initially start doing because you're a giver, you're gonna teach others on how to do it,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the more people teach each other, the more people grow. And this concept that millionaires have, right? If you tell a millionaire your dreams, they're gonna be amazed and be like, "Oh yeah, you should really follow that. You should do it." If you tell your idea or dreams to an average person, they're gonna be like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're crazy."
Yeah. It's not going to
There's
happen.
this type of
Yeah.
mindset,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It is.
So,
It's so weird. Like, not to sound mean, but it's like the mindset of like the rich and the mediocre. I'm not even going to say the poor because like we're not even like there. It's not even like to sound mean, but it's just like those who are truly successful and humble about it are always willing to help other people grow. And those who are just kind of like stagnant but want to be at that level aren't going to be supportive. And that's why I keep my circle small, because it's like if you're not here to elevate me, then like I really don't have time for you.
yeah, I agree. So is that what made you pivot, or not pivot, but venture to another space,
What do you
your
mean?
personal brand? So you
Um,
went
okay.
from realtor to do the web design.
Okay, so this is so what happened was with this girl, I noticed that everything goes back to a website. And my whole career, I have never had my own website. I've had it a few times with the company because they were a big brand name, but then I realized like whenever I leave, I don't have it and I never used it. But it was because I was never properly taught how to use it to my advantage and how to leverage it. And now we have things like QR codes and stuff, and that's going to play a part in my marketing. But if I don't have a landing source for them to go to, then it just looks super unprofessional. So what happened was I started looking into web design, and I'm like, oh my God, it costs so much money. And it's not that I wasn't willing to invest it. I just happened to find a loophole where I was like, okay, I could spend a quarter of the price, learn how to make them myself, and then turn it into a business and help other people grow their businesses, or even help other realtors, small businesses elevate their business as well with what I'm learning to do and make money as well. Or I can just pay someone double that and then hope that I get some kind of return on what I've spent.
Yeah. So you're taking your
So,
destiny into your own hands.
yes, essentially. So I put
That's
aside, I mean, I have a few things that I'm like trying to dabble in. And so I kind of had to put one thing on the back burner for now just to take on that. And I ended up falling in love with it. And like, I love creating web design. I love that every page is going to be different. And so it's like, I genuinely like it. And it's still a good source of income. And everybody's always going to be creating a business. Like,
yeah.
that's never going to end.
No, it
So
won't. But at least
it's just finding the
you're not
people
going.
that are willing to invest that,
Yeah.
like if,
And that's what I continue to preach. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, you're never gonna grow. And invest in
yeah,
yourself means, hey, go get a landing page, or hey, like you just said, go to social media. I also don't like social media. If you look at all my history in social media, I think the last 2 weeks I posted more several years ahead of my normal social media than I
you
have.
posted more than you have in your whole time you've had
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah. But I understand that if you share your experiences, people are gonna be able to connect with you. And like I
Yeah,
tell people, the main motivation behind it is, can you educate as many people as you can? And if you could
yeah,
educate them, then can they grow? If
yeah,
the answer is yes, then do it. If no one's watching you, eventually, like, but what holds people back is the fact that, oh, am I gonna be likable? Like, just
yeah,
be yourself. Who cares?
exactly. Well, and that's why I try to do it, and it's kind of hard because, in situations where, like, I'm trying to explain, like, if your partners don't understand that and they're like slowly coming around to it, it's just trying to be like, how do I explain this and how it's successful when it's like I'm literally watching I joined some group and it was just like different influencers and how they've all elevated their business on with real estate solely through social media, whether it's YouTube, anything, Facebook, all of it. And I'm like, it's all them just posting every day and being authentic and sharing their lives because there's someone else that can relate to you. So it's just showing up. And that's where it's kind of like, at first, it was a little bit uncomfortable because I know, like, for me, Carlos isn't used to that. And so it wasn't necessarily that I was like, oh, I'm worried about what other people are going to think of me, what that follow me. It was more so like I was concerned about his thoughts. But I've had to like shift my mindset. I'm like, okay, do I want the money to come in? Do I want business to come in? Do I want followers to come in? Do I want to connect with the right people? Well, then I have to do it. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I say about relationship growth too. Though is, if your partner has insecurities, that's something they need to deal with. It there's nothing you could say that's gonna ease them. So
Oh
this is
no,
what.
yeah. I know. For me, it's like trying to get like he understands it. I think he's trying to step into that as well because of what we're trying to do in the future. And I was like, you have the ultimate leverage right now to do it. You just have to start doing it. Like
Yeah,
you
take
like
action.
his followings could grow so fast because he's a Marine. Who doesn't want
Yeah,
to follow a Marine, especially with fitness and now you have the knowledge in that as well. So like put them both together and it would be amazing. And I'm like, just send me the videos. I'll put it together and all you got to do is post it. I'll give you the captions, the hashtags, like
like,
I'll
I'll
help
be
you.
your social media manager.
Yeah, give me your password. I'll just do it all for you. I'll schedule.
I'll do it, everything. I'll record you.
I know. I do. I have recorded him. So I'm like, and I
Uh,
put together the videos and then he posts it. But it's just like the consistency, but it's not just on him, it's me too. And now that I mean, once you start throwing in other businesses, you're like, oh man, that's a lot to keep up with.
it is, and what I'm a point. I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier. When you're at the gym and you're sending emails and text messages, you're working on your business. But a lot of people think, oh, that individual's just texting, or that
Oh
individual
yeah.
doesn't even care. Like, why is this person even here? And I know that because Lauren would point it out to me and be like, dude, you're on your phone. I'm like, I know, because I got business to run. Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just be like, shut up and throw it over there.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
says, oh, yeah, I want to be a full time entrepreneur. And I'm gonna make my own schedule, motherfucker. You're gonna have a set schedule.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have
You're
free
gonna
time.
work you're gonna work way more than
Yeah,
you would at your nine to
you're
five. But
exactly.
see, we go so early that I feel like no one's gonna think that. If you're on your phone that much that early in the morning, you must be working already because nobody comprehends anything, even if you've had pre-workout. Like I'm barely comprehending. So
Yeah, yeah.
like, but if yeah, I
What
mean
I call like all the individuals that drink coffee. I just wake up and I'm alive already. I don't need coffee.
bullshit. Who you
I
lying to?
don't. I don't drink coffee. You know.
I know you
No,
don't drink coffee. You literally will drink your pre-workout and then just take off like, "Well, I'm gonna go to Starbucks," and we're like,
get that
"Okay,"
Starbucks. Just have
or BJ's, wherever.
a
Yeah,
Starbucks.
yeah, and not have coffee. You're gonna go there just for the Wi-Fi. You're gonna sit in the parking lot and record a video. Stop.
Hey, you like that video? Huh?
Stop scrolling.
You know how hard it was to do that.
Oh, I know. I bet it took like 20 times too.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let me try something new. And Lauren's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just collecting data. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm doing all kinds of different videos to figure out if I like this before I
Yeah,
invest. Again, I'm
yeah,
investing in myself. So I
yeah.
figure I tried it out. I liked it. And I was to me, the biggest factor is the more I do it, the more my communication skills are going to go up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's my main reason. And the other reason is that the kids, great grandkids, these videos will be
Yeah.
there. I don't know when YouTube will say, hey, this guy's no longer active for the past 25 years, delete the account. But I
Yeah,
mean, like if you have your grandkids and great grandkids thinking, hey, how's my grandpa, my great great grandpa? Oh, look him
yeah.
up. You know,
He's on YouTube.
something you can leave behind.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Yeah.
I think it's
So,
fair.
what would you recommend for someone that would like to start on the field as a realtor?
Well, if you don't have patience and if you don't have the drive to invest in yourself and to go after it, then don't even bother. Like that's just honest truth. Don't bother. Because there's already enough of those here that are active licensed realtors already. But if you are, then I do recommend going to school right away, um, and not overthinking it. I know that there was, oh my God. Okay. We're recording this late, so now I'm brain farting on the thing that Lauren used um to help her with her real estate test. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, the videos.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess you're SOL. Message me on Instagram and I'll
We'll
tell you
add
when
it
I'm
in
more
the
coherent.
description.
I had it and yeah, we'll add it in the description. But there's another program you can use to help you. So when you go to take your test, you'll be good. Um, but I mean, it's just kind of like you just have to have a go getter mindset and a lot of patience to understand that, like, real estate isn't for the weak. You're going to see who your true loyal clients are, who your true friends are, who your true family members are. Because I've literally had cousins that have lived with me. Yes, I'm calling you out if you do watch this. Live with me and grow up with me. Go and use someone else that wasn't even family to sell their house. And I was like, bro, I like,
They're like, what? How
yeah,
does that happen?
like my dad literally fed you to keep your ass alive. And this is the thanks we get. So like you'll see stuff like that where you have family members and friends that will just use someone else, Joe Schmoes, and like, my husband's uncle's grandfather's sister's dog sells houses, and so I use that person. Like you just have to just be prepared for those kinds of things to occur because it's gonna happen and you're gonna feel defeated and you're gonna spend time. I've had clients where I've spent years with them just little things like whether it was like dropping off goodies for the holidays or going to their house and giving recommendations, and then they're just like I'm not going to sell anymore, or oh, I just let so and so take care of it. And then what people don't realize is like this is our livelihood, this is how I feed my kids, this is how I make my money, like, and so that's a check that's now gone for me because you were just like nah, I just let so and so handle it,
Like no big deal.
like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, if your boss decided to pay, Karen instead of you, I bet she would feel some type of way, like, and people don't view it that way. They don't look at it like this is our livelihood.
Got you. What about for individuals that want to join the real estate world but in the investing side?
Well, on the investing side, I
What
mean,
would you
let's do
recommend
it.
for them?
I would recommend them talking to both of us because you have a lot of information to get stuff like solidified and numbers. Like you are more the numbers and I'm more of like, let's fucking do this, negotiate and handle it and execute. You can come up with a good game plan for them and I will execute it.
Nice. Yeah, I
So
strongly
that's
recommend that as well.
yes, I agree.
So, you have any final thoughts?
um, no, I
So,
really
my
don't.
final thoughts for the individuals watching this is take action. The biggest factor here is you could read, learn, go to seminars, consume a bunch of content, but none of that's going to help you if you don't take action.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. We're human beings. We're going to fail. Failure's part of success. So just get over it.
It really is. And you might as well just try, because if you don't, you're going to continue to live your life thinking, well, I should have did that, or I should have done this. And if you don't, whoever else is like next to you that could be family or friends watching this is going to do it. And then you're going to wish you would have done it too.
Yeah, correct. So where could they find you?
Well, hopefully not at my house, but if you wanted to find me on Instagram, you can. No limit underscore savage underscore warrior.
Nice. Okay, until next time. Thank you, everybody.